in our fifth wheel went off again. It tripped the circuit breaker at the solar resiliency um, battery bank, which is grid intertied because it's got a Solarc on-grid, off-grid inverter. But there's something wrong with that circuit breaker, even supposed to handle 50 amps. Um, it doesn't. So we bought this soft start and it just arrived. It's a 30 amp, but I had to use these, what do they call them, pigtails or dog bones? Dog bone, I think it is, dog bones, to go up to the 50 amp plug, because that's what we have down here. So what I'm going to do is turn off the 50 amp circuit breaker, which, let me turn the camera around if I can. There we go. So I'm going to turn off the 50 amp circuit breaker like that. And now I am going to, I guess I gotta undo this. Oopsie. Okay, so it's not, so let me just get this out of here. That's not fun. There we go. All right, now let me pull the RV plug for the 50 amp outlet. Is that even gonna come out? There it goes, okay. Ooh. There's all sorts of electric ants, and it looks like there was some arcing. So this is the big problem with the high current draw that you get when you're using a 50 amp, when you're using air conditioning. I'm going to have to get this replaced, but see, that's from arcing, and it's caused a burnout there. So that's not good. Let's see if the end here, look at those electric ants. They're part of that arcing problem. Wow, those electric ants are something. They're known as little fire ants, LFAs, or electric fire ants. Some people call them. They come from, apparently, from disturbed rainforests in Central America, where it's been turned to agriculture, and so their natural predators are gone, and they are incredibly invasive. They've taken over Hawaii, and they're taking over Florida, and they give a nasty sting. Just one of these tiny little ants gets in your bed, and they'll turn into a queen, and they'll build a nest, and one of them stinging you can cause quite a pain, quite a welt at night. So I got some definite corrosion there I'm going to have to fix. Yikes. So the ants are a definite problem. And then, as you can see, we get this arcing that they cause. So that's not good. Anyway, I'll have to come back and take care of that. We're going to try now with this dog bone. We're going to plug this 50 amp. Sorry for the bad video. I'm just trying to record this as I do it. I'll make a better video later. But I'll plug this in like so. Then, so we have this 50 amp to 30 amp dog bone. Then we have the 30 amp, and you know what that looks like. So that looks like this. So that's the 30 amp, like that. So then we take that and we're dog boning into there. Then we have the soft start, which is here. So it says soft startup, advanced AC soft starter and surge protector for RVs and homes. And then we've gone into another dog bone from 30 amp again to the 50 amp. And that's where this is going to be plugged in. So let me see if I can put the phone down. How am I going to do that? Let me try this here. Okay, so we got that connected there. We got that connected there. Alrighty. So that's the way it goes. 50 amp outlet, dog boned to 30 amp soft start. They don't make a 50 amp soft start yet. They said they're going to come out with one next year. This cost $640 with shipping, and then these each cost $20, the dog bones, so $680. It's down. You can order from them and get a $300 discount, which is what we did, because otherwise they're up about $900. But the power is always going off, and that arcing can be really dangerous whenever there's that current surge, when the inductive motor of an air conditioner starts up. That creates tremendous burden. It shuts off our circuit breaker on the solar cart. It has shut off the circuit when we weren't using solar, so it doesn't matter, solar with battery backup or just regular grid power. That inductive load when the air conditioner kicks on is always a problem. That's why they have the soft start, which apparently has a capacitor in it, so it stores up a charge, and then when the inductive motor kicks in, it supplies that needed oomph to get that rotor spinning in the stator, and then the compressor generally works without too much current. So we can double or triple the current. So for example, if your compressor in your air conditioner or your refrigerator or your water pump, let's say that it draws 20 amps, and this is a 30 amp soft start, right? The soft start will mediate that, because when it kicks on, it may use as much as 50 or 60 amps. And apparently, since we're tripping a 50 amp circuit breaker, it must be pulling more than 50 amps when it starts up. Or it could be because of the arcing, because of the little fire ants, electric fire ants. That may be what's causing that extra current surge. Anyway, we want to stop having those current surges and let that be handled by the soft start. And then once it settles down to its regular draw, then the current can pass through. So I'm going to turn on this again. And I'm going to go over to the solar cart, and I have to set that circuit breaker. We didn't know about soft starts for the first 3 years of our experience living here. We lived off grid on a 1 kilowatt system with a bunch of lead acid batteries, which are over in this box over here. So we ran the entire fifth wheel with no air conditioning at all for 3 years off of these batteries here, these 4 batteries with this charge controller and with this 1500 watt inverter. And that was limiting tremendously what we could do. And then when the baby was born, we realized that we needed air conditioning because babies can die of heat exhaustion. So we went on to the Bishop Solar Electric Grid, which you can see over there. There's a 3 kilowatt on pole mounted solar array. There's a ground mount array of about 5 kilowatts there. The pavilion has about 6 or 7 kilowatts on it, and the carport has another 3 or 4. All that is grid intertied. We were using these panels here for our battery backup when we were completely off the grid, not using air conditioning or refrigeration. We used actually a propane fridge at the time. Now we have a 1 kilowatt array here and a 1 kilowatt array here, not positioned well regarding the sun, so we get about 1.6. We can actually see how many kilowatts we're getting here. We're getting, let's see. Oh, it's only pulling half a kilowatt, but I think it's because the battery is charged. The grid is off because the circuit breaker blipped. Nothing's pulling, and it's actually exporting power. So the batteries are taking that. That's why we're not using a lot of the solar right now, a lot of the sunshine. So let me open this up. There's 2 lithium iron phosphate batteries down here, 2.5 kilowatts each, but they only supply 2.5 kilowatts at a time. And we don't have an auto transformer, so we can't bundle that up. So we're often flipping that. And here's what flips. This is the circuit to the grid. Now we're off grid. It's just the solar panels going into the Solarc inverter and then down to the batteries. And this is what trips. And this is a 50 amp breaker. So somehow it is tripping either because we're pulling more than 50, which is unlikely, or because of that arcing over there at the RV stuff. So I'm going to flip those back on, and I will now hope that this will reset. There it goes. It went from yellow back to white, and it's not showing that we're pulling anything from the grid because we don't need them, but now says that we're using 1.68. It was 1.79 a second ago. Now it went down. So the solar panels, we've gotten about 1.7 out of the 2 kilowatt array because of the way they're positioned, because they're not facing south, they're flat. And now clouds came over as well. But now things should start working again. The house doesn't have any AC on, so we'll have to come back once we see what's happening when we turn on the air conditioning with the soft start. So the power comes from here, and it goes, this is from the grid coming in here, coming out of this. This is the grid here. And then it comes, this yellow cord provides 30 amp, well, it's got 50 amp breaker, so it is 50 amp. So it's another 50 amp cord. Yeah, another 50 amp with a 50 amp breaker right there. And that is going to that 50 amp circuit way back there. Let's see what happens. Turn on the AC and hope that the start is going to stop that problem of that AC motor kicking on. We've never used two air conditioners in this RV at the same time ever. It was always too much. There's the one, the bedroom one, that was just causing the problem now. And then there's a back one for the living room back up there. We always run them separately, but if we're boiling water, that uses about 1500 watts. If the water heater for the shower is on, that'll pull about 1500, and it's only about 2500 a leg. Let's see what happens if we turn on the air conditioner again. Let's see if the power is not even on for some reason. Okay, that's weird. Why is the power not on? Is the soft start not letting it regulate? Go on. Okay. This is plugged in, this is plugged in, this is plugged in. I don't see any lights on this. There's supposed to be an app with this, maybe? Okay, this is bizarre. No power coming through. So I think what I'm going to have to do is read the instructions and then get back to you, because I see no power here. Let's see if I need to turn off here. The mains are on, and we simply do not have any power. All right, back to the drawing board, and then we'll get back with you to see what's going on and how the soft start is doing. Thanks.